Channel for 8 years, Dirty Jobs. After that, he started a Skills Trade Foundation. Most recently, he's raised about, I think, $1.6 million to support education throughout America's schools. Mike?
Brian, thanks. Hey, guys. Actually, it's 2.7 million, but let's not
It's
split
went up.
No, you know what? We just announced today another tranche of, we call them work ethic scholarships. We partnered with individual trade schools all over the place. UTI is the most recent. That's out in the press right now. In general, first of all, pleasure to be up here on stage with you guys. I think I'm the only one of this quartet not currently or officially employed, but it's still great. I'm busier than I've ever been working with the foundation and with Caterpillar, focusing on the skills gap, focusing on alternative education, focusing on work ethic scholarships, and mostly a kind of PR campaign for hard work. That's really what brought us together in the first place. Back in 2008, just as the recession was really starting to take hold, and just as words like infrastructure and skills gap were beginning to appear in the headlines, along with unemployment, I was seeing something really curious on Dirty Jobs. Everywhere I went, I was seeing help wanted signs. And it just seemed odd, given the fact that the headlines were what they were, to see so much opportunity. Dirty Jobs shot in every single state, all 50. We did 300 altogether. And no matter where I went, I heard the same story over and over and over again from employers, how difficult it was to find people who were, A, willing to learn a new skill, retrain, retool, show up early, stay late. It just seemed to be, I know it's always been a challenge, but to hear it so many different times in so many different places from so many different people, it really just got me thinking that maybe something was disconnected, fundamentally. So that's how the PR campaign for Hard Work started. We called it MicroWorks. It was supposed to be MICRO, but there was a copyright issue, so it's my name, MicroWorks. And we started talking in the same way Dirty Jobs focused on people who very rarely get a spotlight shown on them. We started talking about the jobs themselves that were often overlooked. And we started to look at the link between the jobs that were available and the relationship the country had with the education that was required to get that job. And we started to see even more disconnects. So the whole notion of alternative education being this kind of subordinate or vocational consolation prize compared to a 4-year degree and other forms of knowledge, it really struck us as something that needed to be talked about. So to make a very long story short, MicroWorks evolved out of Dirty Jobs back in 2008, and we went looking for partners. And we were looking for organizations, nonprofits, we were looking for companies, big and small. And I had a wish list, and somewhere near the top was Caterpillar. And by somewhere near the top, I mean right at the very top. And so we flew down to Peoria and met these guys, and we've been talking ever since and doing a lot of different things in a lot of different ways to continue to try and shine a light on this whole issue of closing the skills gap and getting people excited about jobs that actually exist. And there's just no better example of a company that I know of than these guys. The final Dirty Job that we did about a year and a half ago, we were up in Dickinson, North Dakota. We were just talking about this in the back. A kid named Jake walked up to me. I was putting up a cell phone tower with my crew. It was totally unrelated, but there was a piece of heavy equipment that needed working on, and the guy came over to work on it. He used to work for Caterpillar up there, but he basically went freelance, and I asked him why. And he said, because I can work whenever I want. I'm working 40 to 60 hours a week. I'm making, well, I don't want to talk out of school, but well into the 6 figures. I'm expecting my second kid. I've been married 4 years. I have no debt, and I just paid my house off. And I'm like, that kid should be on a poster. People should be talking about these stories. So this relationship with Caterpillar gives me a chance to tell those stories. It gives us a chance to connect those dots. The results we've seen, both incrementally, serendipitously, and accidentally over the last couple of years have been extraordinary. Some good things also happen when we try things on purpose, but the reality is just being in business with the right partners and keeping your ears open has given me a chance to talk about the skills gap, talk about opportunities at Caterpillar and elsewhere in a way that I never would have been able to do before. So every year we try and do something a little different. This year, somebody in CAT jokingly said, "Hey, you should write a book." And I said, "Okay, I'll write a book about this. Will you use it in the campaign?" And they said, "Well, if you want us to use it in this whole tech